Hi everyone and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, June 6, 2021. This is episode 376, and if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back for one more episode, and if you're new, I hope you enjoy what you see today, and you'll come back in the future to check out what other crafting endeavors and projects I will be up to. So, first off, I want to wish a happiest of birthdays to our sister Amanda, and the best sister two leading men could ask for, as well as an amazing studio manager. So, it's her birthday. It's also our niece's birthday. So, happy birthday to Avery Lane. She is turning the big 8 today. So, we're excited for her. We get to see her in about 2 weeks when we go on a family vacation down to Tennessee, and I'm sure we'll be celebrating down there as well. So anyway, it is a little later on Sunday than I anticipated recording, but that's okay. We had some errands to do. We had unpacked the van from an event that we were at yesterday, which I'll talk about in a minute, and had to do some grocery shopping, which was long overdue, back to the travel schedule. And, you know, it's like, well, why go get groceries if we're going to be gone for half the week? So we scrounge around and then are in dire need of necessities. So then we got home and I was a little bit tired. So I took a nap because our day off, I'm allowed to do that. And then I woke up and I wasn't feeling the best. I had a little bit of low blood sugar issue and got the show notes ready. Then we had dinner and I'm here. So I'm going to record, I'm going to get this up, and then Andy and I are going to watch a movie. We're going to watch the new Conjuring movie, which is streaming on HBO Max. So I'm excited about that because I love a good scary movie. So that's my plan for tonight, if you were wondering. What's been going on in the last 2 weeks? A lot of work. Things have been really picking up for us, which is amazing. We couldn't be happier, but it means we are doing a lot of work, a lot of time in the studio, and a lot of traveling as of late. So last weekend we were in Worcester, Ohio at the Great Lakes Fiber Festival. It was our first time attending this festival. We got in on 2020's festival, and unfortunately that was canceled. So we rolled over and we had an excellent show. So to all of you who came out and supported the festival and supported us, thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate it. We had a beautiful booth underneath the grandstand. The stands underneath there, I think, are like sponsored by different companies for their county fair. And lo and behold, we had a beautifully lit and decorated booth for a home decor business. So we were like, this is what we want our studio to look like. But it was a really good show. We couldn't have anticipated the reaction of the crowd, so that was pleasantly surprising. And then another full week of work, and this last weekend we were in Franklin, Indiana at the Hoosier Hills Fiber Festival, and it had been 2 years that we hadn't been there, so it's been 3 years since we were in attendance. And we were now in the main building, which was really nice. Unfortunately, the air conditioning was broken in that building. That's one of the perks of being in that building, other than really good lighting, better lighting than the barns, obviously. But the air conditioning was broken, and by the end of the day, it was hotter in the building than it was outside. So that was, yeah. But they fixed it overnight, and Sunday it was a really cool event. And so, yeah, again, surpassed our expectations at that event. It was nice to see some regulars, since we do a lot of work in the Indianapolis area with trunk shows and field trips and things like that. So it was nice to check in with people. It was definitely interesting in Ohio. It got a little bit better in Indiana. Just the social interaction and the crowds were a bit of a culture shock for myself. And but it's so great to be able to catch up with friends and see some regulars and meet new customers and new enthusiasts in the fiber world. So it's been great traveling, and we really enjoy it. So other than that, some other big things that we've started in the studio are our weekly craft nights, which are taking place on every Wednesday from 5 to 8. And we had a full house last week. That was really amazing. Lots of chit chat and, people excited to meet in person. There's 3 ladies that have been Zoom chatting during the pandemic. They never actually met in real life, and they're from 3 different towns here in Central Illinois, and they got to meet up and actually hang out at our studio this past week. So that was a lot of fun. We will be doing occasional Saturday craft sessions as well, but those would require us for us to not be traveling and to be home on those Saturdays, and unfortunately that won't be happening until the beginning of July, when we'll have our next Saturday craft session. So, but every Wednesday we will have a craft session. So if you're in the area, please feel free to stop on by. We are following CDC guidelines, so we are asking that if you are not vaccinated to please continue to wear your mask. Our entire staff is vaccinated, and so we are not wearing masks because we are fully vaccinated. So we do ask that. Of course, it's on the honor system, but not much more we can do other than that. But we want people to feel safe and comfortable. So that is about it. In fact, I just hear Andy getting up. He is wishing our niece a happy birthday. So yeah. Other than that, we'll be traveling this next weekend. I'll talk about it later, but we're going to Amana, Iowa for the Shepherd's Market, and that's usually held in late February, early March. However, they pushed it back this year due to the pandemic. So they're at a new location at the Amana Woolen Mill, and I'm really excited because they also have a hotel in this location, and so Andy booked the hotel there, so we get to stay in the hotel and experience that. That's going to be this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Amana, Iowa. And then the following week, we are leaving, I believe, on Thursday and heading down to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee for a family vacation on his family's side. There will be 10 of us, the 10 of us that went to Walt Disney World a couple years ago as a family trip, graciously gifted by his mom. She is also renting us a big cabin down there. So we're all going down there. We're going to be doing some fun and exciting things like going to Dollywood, doing some, I call it ATVing. It's not ATVing. It's the dune biking or whatever. I will not be ziplining. I know there's a couple other things they want to do. There's a couple things I'd like to do while we're down there, but we'll see what happens. That's the nice thing. This is not going to be like a fully planned out vacation. There's going to be some times where the family gathers, but other than that, there's going to be time for us to do our own thing, which is really nice, because if we tried too hard to do everything together and realized very quickly that that didn't work out in Walt Disney World. So when there's 10 of you, it's hard to manage that. So take a quick drink. So that's what's really been going on. After that, the weekend after is the Zombie Apocalypse. So we're excited to be returning and going and vending at that retreat. I am not actually attending the retreat this year. Due to the family vacation, we do not get back until Tuesday. And if I were to go to the retreat, I would have to drive myself the following day on Wednesday to Minnesota. And then I don't really have like a set person that I was going with. So I would have been by myself, which all your meals at that retreat are by yourself. And I'm not very good at including myself and asking to be invited to meals. So it made me a little cautious. And so I decided, rather than having myself and Andy drive separately, I just canceled the retreat, and we will be driving up on Friday. I believe we have plans to have dinner with Diane of Suburban Stitcher and her husband on Friday evening. And then the market is on Saturday. It is for attendees only in the morning, but then it is open to the public from 1 to 3 at the Doubletree in Rochester, Minnesota. So I'm super excited about that. We stay tuned for a collaboration announcement between 6 indie dyers and a bag maker and a designer that will be happening at the market. There will be pre-sales for this kit collaboration being announced soon. And if you're an 80s, 90s kid, you're gonna wanna get in on this. So anyway, that's pretty much been our last 2 weeks. It's been busy. I'm I might have, you'll see a little bit later, been really bad with the stash enhancement, but you know what? The world's opening up and so is my wallet. So let's get right into it. First up, what's taking about? I have a ginormous project finally off the needles. I need to figure out how to get it photographed, and then hopefully it'll be going on to its new home. If not, it'll be sitting around waiting for a new owner. But I finished my Fade into Advent by Lisa Ross using Suburban Stitcher's 2020's neutral Advent set, and I used a size 6 US, which is a 4mm needle. This thing is huge, okay? Huge. So this uses 24 mini skeins, and you start in the center with that diamond and you work your way out through one side. And then you put your stitches back on the needles and you work your way out through the other side. So it is quite ginormous. But you could probably even wrap this twice and still get yeah, no. It's huge. It's a lot of yarn and a lot of knitting. It was fun to do. It'd be a really good kind of accent piece, but I loved Diane's fades and progressions as she worked through the 24 mini skeins. As you can see there's all that left. So it is probably one of the biggest projects I've done. Personally, I probably would have went a little bit wider. I mean, I guess it's pretty wide, just to not make it so long, but yeah. So that's done. It's off the needles. I started it right around December 1st, if not a few days early, and it finally got finished in June. Oh, it was so nice to put on a new project on the needles and to pick from my stash, randomly pick from my stash using my random number generator, as you know I like to do. So, all right, what's performing then? I have not worked on my crochet blanket, so I'm not going to show you that. I did work on Andy's red socks. In fact, I finished the first one. I have a hoe, or a half object. That's not the right project bag. Let's grab the right one. So I am knitting these using Laying Yarns Jawool Action Color in number 4060. And I'm using a size 1 US 2.25mm needles. He's tried it on, it fits. He definitely noticed that this is more of a workhorse yarn. This is one of those German yarns, I think. But I do 10 rounds of a 2x2 ribbing, 70 more rounds down the leg, put in an afterthought ripcord, do 80 rounds and then do a rounded toe, pick up, do 4 rounds plain, including picking up extra stitches in the corner, which I still do have to weave in and kind of close those up. And then I do another rounded toe after those 4 plain rounds. And that fits us with a 10.5 to 11 foot pretty darn well. So that is the first sock. And I haven't cast on for the second one yet. So that will be coming soon. Next up is my Father Time cowl, designed by me. And I remembered to bring this from the studio today. This is my work knitting. And I have about this much left. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Sparkle Sock in the Man of Mystery colorway on a size 4 US, which is a 3.5mm needle. And this is a super easy, free pattern on Ravelry. Great for that one skein wonder that you just don't know what to do with. And it's great travel knitting. And it's, if you do weigh and do the math, it's great to, with your grams. It's not in the pattern, though I should update it. It's a great way to use practically an entire skein if you want. So here is the Father Time cowl. It's a simple mesh pattern with garter on the edges. There's nothing to it. One row is knit, one row is yarn over knit two together. That's all there is to it. So yeah, working on that. That's going well. That should be done here soon, hopefully. And then we will have a sample for our sparkle sock yarn. Next up is my So Basic sweater by Maxim Cyr. I have this in, I just think it's funny. I have this in my new Bags by Awesome Granny bag in the Fun Guy fabric because I'm knitting it for my fun guy. So Andy asked for his first ever knitted sweater a couple months ago, and of course he wanted the So Basic like I knit for myself out of Soliloquy, which is a fingering weight, but he over-dyed our Yarnakukin colorway with black, and we ended up with this. So I am still working on the raglan increasing. And I want to say I'm 20 something increases out of 37 before I can split for the sleeves. Actually, I can tell that that's the back because of the short row shaping. So there's that. I'm knitting these on my Prim needles, which are relatively new to the shop. And yeah, I can't spread it out much bigger than that, but that's going. Here's the yarn. Ooh, that's blowing it out. It's much darker than that. That's what it looks like. But when I hold it close, you can actually see there the variations. Now you can see how blown out it is because of my face, but you can actually see the variations in the yarn. So, and that's being knit on a size 3 and 4 US, which is a 3.25 and a 3.5 millimeter. Last up is my newest project. And so what I do, because I buy all this beautiful yarn and I want to knit with it eventually, but I don't want to always go towards my newest purchases because then nothing old is ever going to get used. And I don't want to necessarily always just go for my oldest yarn. So I download my stash on an Excel sheet or Google number sheet or whatever. And then I use a random number generator to pick, you know, if I've got 1 through 300 and something different yarns, then I use my stash or the random number generator to pick. So it picked for me a kit that I picked up at Stunning String, probably at our like 3rd Zombie Knitpocalypse. And it is a kit for the Tranquil Mist lace shawl with beads. And this uses their Twinkle sock, or just Twinkle in the Broken Hearts colorway. This is their sparkle with Stellina, not Lurex. Ours is Lurex. And here is the second ball that I already have wound up. And I've made good progress. I worked on this to and from Indiana this weekend. And here's where we're at. So you can see we're already placing beads. Unfortunately, a lot of these beads are not uniform and I can't get the crochet hook through them. And if I force them, they break. So I may need to be contacting Stunning String to see if they have more beads because I don't know if I'm gonna have enough. The kit did come with the beads, the yarn, and stitch markers. Unfortunately, there was only 10 stitch markers when you need 11, so I'm gonna make sure that they're aware of that. But I did purchase this years ago, so they may have updated what they're doing. So yeah, it's been fun doing some lace and not just garter or in the round or so. That's what I've been working on. Sorry. Took a nap. I shouldn't be tired, but you know, half the time you take a nap and you wake up and you're just tired the rest of the day, and that's what today is. And that's being knit on a size 6 US, which is a 4 millimeter. And that's the Tranquil Mist by Cindy Garland. She is one of the owners of Stunning String. Nothing in rehearsal, nothing to show you in behind the scenes. I've done a little bit of spinning, but no progress to show you. I'm still working on the Fiber Optics Blackbird Gradient. Both my lights just flickered. Both my cross stitch pieces I have not touched. I put in 2 little strands in my Heaven and Earth Designs this morning, but nothing worth showing you. And I have not worked on my Fox latch hook. So I've been at work all the time. I have not had time, and with traveling on the weekends, I don't even have time on the weekends to do the side crafting. So let's move into In the Spotlight. What am I watching? The only thing that we have finished is we did finish season 1 of Big Sky. They had a mid-season break and came back after they kind of had their test run of episodes. They have been picked up for season 2, I do know. It's set in Montana, and it's about these 2 women who, one used to be on the force, I believe, police force, and the other one's a private investigator who was a private investigator with the woman's husband. Husband was murdered, and she ends up trying to help with solving his case and getting involved in the first couple of episodes, and then it leads on to more cases and things like that. I think it's pretty good. It's definitely a major network TV crime drama. So, you know, they try to do some groundbreaking things, especially in the first episode, but yeah, so I'd say give it a try if you get into that kind of stuff. And yeah, let's get to the stash enhancement, because this is going to take a hot minute. So I let myself do and buy whatever I wanted these last 2 weekends, and as much side-eye and criticism that I got from Andy, I just went with it because it felt right and it felt good and it felt amazing to support other small businesses after surviving 2020. So I'm gonna go right into things and show you some stuff that I got and some things. So in Ohio at the in Worcester, Ohio, at the Great Lakes Fiber Festival, I picked up 2 things of fiber from Bauer Family Farm. This is Northern Lights. It's 4 ounces of merino wool, but there's also glitz in there. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell. Oh, that's better. It is a rainbow gradient for $15. So I was like, all right, I'll spin that up and 3-ply that, chain ply that into a gradient. I can do that. So I picked that up. And then they had dyed braids of fiber in different blends that I had seen before. And they had them packaged with a little note that says these were dyed in the same batch. We'll sell them separately, but if you want the same batch, just buy both. So I was like, well, I don't want to separate it from its twin. I couldn't do that. So this is 70% Blue-Faced Leicester. So, yeah, Blue-Faced Leicester. And 30% Sea Cell, which is seaweed fiber, again from Bauer Family Farms. Both of these are 3.8 ounces, and they do not have a colorway name, but they're like blues and purples. I think I named it on Ravelry Wine Stomping, maybe. So I have 7.6 ounces here. I will probably just spin one, and then maybe I'll fractal spin the other one and ply them together, or I don't know. I'll have to open them up and look at it when I get to it, but that had to go with me. It took me a few minutes to decide what color I wanted, and then as I was checking out, they had the rainbow yarn right there, and I was like, all right, I'll just add that on. I then visited our friend Robin, who owns the Yarn Birds yarn truck. She's based out of Ohio, but she does things in Kentucky, Indiana. She's done Stitches Midwest before. She does Michigan Fiber Festival. She has a beautifully created and beautifully decorated yarn truck. And so I went on to chit chat with her and catch up with her. And I was looking through some yarns that I had not had in my stash. And while I've heard a lot about her, I've not watched her podcast, dropping a needle over here. I picked up a Chelsea Luxe Duet. This is 2 skeins. The first one is the Luxe Copplestone, which is the slub yarn. It's 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 438 yards. And then a skein of Luxe Mohair, which is 72% kid mohair, 28% silk, 459 yards in the Winterberry colorway. And I was gonna go really subdued, and then I was like, nope, I want bright pops of color. Pink and purple was my color at Ohio. So I tried to avoid that this past weekend, but this is gonna become a shawl which alternates between the mohair by itself and the cobblestone by itself. So excited for that, to try that out. I then picked up a shawl set from Behind the Pines. This is a new company to me. In fact, we're going to be carrying some new stuff in the shop from them, from her husband. We have it. I just have to inventory it and get it all organized. But this is a shawl set with 4 240-yard skeins of her Emma base, which is 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. And this, I've decided, is going to be for the Besties for Life shawl by Cozy Up Knits. That's what they had knitted up. And so I picked up this little yarn set for that shawl. And excited to have met her. And that's all that I picked up at Great Lakes Fiber Festival. Now, 2 of my clubs came in. So I've got my second of 3 installments of the Knitterly Things Vesper Sock Yarn Club. This is May 2021 in the Cheerful colorway. And that's a lot of fun. It's just cheerful. It is bright and cheerful. So you've got a sky blue, a kind of straw gold, a heliotrope purple, kind of a magenta red, and yeah, and then you got that chartreuse green, of course. So that came, and then I got my first installment when it came this weekend while we were gone of the Hello Yarn Fiber Club. I decided, I've heard about this, especially through Laura and the Knit Girls for years. I just pulled the trigger, signed up. She's got so many options. You can do single dose, a double dose to get 2 fiber braids. You can get the fiber braid plus like 6 ounces of coordinated colors to do things with. I'm just like, I want it all, but I know that I'm not going to stay on top of it. So 1 4-ounce braid or bag of fluff a month is going to be good enough for me. So this is the May 2021 Fiber Club. This is Falkland wool in the Nimble colorway. Beautiful. It's like that sky blue, slate gray. There's pops of green and gold and brown, and then these dark, rich greens in there. It's beautiful. So excited to have that come in the mail. But wait, there's more. Okay, I don't really want to do all that. So yeah, I kind of got a lot of stuff this weekend. There were so many good friends there and new friends to be made. So I wanted to support a lot of people, and I did. Boy, did I. So next to us was Rebel Pearl. She had previously sent skeins to the podcast as a donation or to be given away. And this was her first Fiber Festival. So after spending all weekend next to her, right before we left, I decided to go over and support her. And first up, she had a bunch. Her name is Mary. I'm assuming that was her who designed all these. And these, I picked up a pattern for to make it a kit in my mind. Though I did find kits at checkout after I purchased, and it's probably good that I didn't get a 2 or 3 skein shawl. But this is a 1 skein shawl called the Power Up Edged Shawl, and I'm just gonna hold that up there so you can see there. So it's kind of a asymmetrical triangle with an applied border. Well, I don't think it's applied. It's probably done as you go. But I picked up her 4 plies of the Apocalypse, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 436 yards in the If It Bleeds colorway, which is some fun neons. So I thought it would be fun. So I've got that to knit eventually. Then people we had met before, Fiber Seed, they were behind us at SAF in 2019. They were in one of the new buildings. It was their first time there, and it was great to catch up with them. And we had a chit chat in the late afternoon yesterday, and it was really nice. They are a beautiful team and good people. And so she had showed us the first morning we were walking around because we were done setting up early, and she was putting up a new sample. She goes, "This is coming out in June and it uses our gradient, like a mini set and whatever." So I went back around later that day and I said, "Okay, sell me on that shawl." She goes, "And it comes with the code that comes out later this month." So there's a main skein of the Fiber Seed Sprout sock, which is American wool with 10% nylon, 510 yards to 4.8 ounces. And this is the Succulent colorway. And the pattern that's coming out is called Through Lines. And this is just so soft and subtle. And then I got a pack of 6 minis to go with it. It is outside my usual color palette, hence why I picked it up. This one is called Georgia Peach. Pine Grove is the dark green. Moss is this light green. Natural. Sandy. And Nectar is that soft peach. So there's the color palette with the main skein. So that's going to be the Through Line shawl when that gets released and whenever I get to knitting it. And then my friend Sue, who is local to us, in fact, we carry her rope yarn bowls. She also does project bags. I've known her for years, and this was, I believe, her first time at the Hoosier Hills Fiber Festival. And she had her project bag there in a wide array of styles and colors. And she also had a few sets with yarn. And she's been asking us to collaborate, and I've just been putting it off and putting it off. But she has this yarn from Knitters Brewing Company, based out of California. And this is their luxury worsted, which is 190 yards. Fine merino superwash in the colorway Woolly Friends. And it came with one of Sue's bags. So there's the bag, and it's got lovely neutrals with sheeps and sweaters and hats and mittens and scarves. And then there is the yarn. So I figured I could do a hat or something. I don't know. I'll figure out a pattern to go with this here shortly, because I cannot just put yarn in my stash without a project. Or then I start to feel guilty. Then, and only then, do I start to feel guilty. Whoops. All right, too much. Okay, so then on the other side of the hall, kind of down the aisle from us, was our friend Erin and her daughter, Ruby, of Rock and String Creations. They are based out of Kentucky. We usually do the Kentucky Fiber Festival. We've vended next to them the past 2 years. Unfortunately, we didn't do Kentucky this year because it was purely an outdoor show. She does amazing self-striping yarn as well as other speckles and fiber. And I have quite like 2 socks worth of her yarn. But I did pick up 2 more. She will do just a full skein as well as 2 individually packaged half skeins that will match. And she carries a 75-25 base as well as an 80-20. I picked up a birthday gift for Amanda because if you know my sister, she's kind of an old dark soul. She likes black and gray and red and black and black and black with pops of color. She wears black almost every day. So I picked up this Neon Night self-striping. This is on her 75-25. It is black with pops of color. And I thought she would like this, so I picked this up and to give to her to Monday when we see her, Tuesday when we see her at work. And then I picked up a different color for myself. / Andy, and Andy really liked the black with the neon pops, but since I'm giving that to Amanda, he didn't like the other one that I got, so I was like, well, I was gonna get this one. He's like, that's the one I wanted you to get. So I went back and I traded, and I got Manuscript on her Jitterbug fingering. This is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and she was knitting up a swatch of this. It's got like a cream, soft tan, dark charcoal gray, and like a burgundy. So 2 more socks waiting to happen. Well, 4 more socks, 2 more pairs. Oh wait, there's more. Last one actually. So there was a brand new company to me. It was their first show. 2 young ladies. They were rather quiet, so I didn't get much of their story. They just kind of let me peruse. But they were out in the barn, and that is Ash and Bumble. And this is their Valley Merino DK in the Harvest Moon colorway. It's 231 yards, and I thought I could do a pretty hat or cowl with this. So that is Harvest Moon by Ash and Bumble. I was a little naughty, but it's okay. You do boo, you do you boo boo. That's what I say. Okay, let's get on to this episode's giveaway. So, what are we giving away this episode? First off, let me reiterate, to enter this giveaway, you must go onto our Ravelry group and enter in the appropriate thread, and must be a member of the Dramatic Knits video podcast group, and you must respond to the prompt that's in that thread. Please do not respond. You can respond in the YouTube comments, but that will not get you entered into the drawing. I only look on the Ravelry thread when I pull for winners. So another generous donation to the podcast. This is Regia Hand Dye Effect in color 06552. And it's beautiful blues, long color changing blues. And yeah, you could use this like, this gradient effect is kind of what Spin Cycle does with their, milled hand-dyed yarns. They do those long color changes. So if you want to do some of those patterns, but want it to be a little more affordable, these kind of big commercial yarns will work just the same, as long as it's the same yarn weight. So in order to be eligible to win this, again, you must enter on Ravelry, be a member of the Ravelry group, and answer the prompt. The prompt this episode is on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not at all, 5 being, oh my God. How scared are you of the dark? Just wondering. So go on over and enter for that. All right, let's move on to a round of applause. Who's the winner for last episode's giveaway, which was 4 skeins, I'm only showing you 1, of Kramer Yarns Naturally Nazareth Aran in color Spring. So there's 4 skeins of this. And the winner of this was number 21, Kansas Clicker. That's Sharon from Kansas. And the prompt was, what's your favorite day of the week? Sharon thinking Kansas and Sharon. Sharon from Kansas says, Fridays are my favorite, that's the day my knitting group gathers for lunch and knitting, and we can now meet maskless as we are all vaccinated. So congratulations, Sharon. Would you please direct message me on Ravelry? I'm Dramatic Knits with your first and last name, mailing address, and email address, and I will get this and the other 3 companions out to you as soon as possible. All right, let's move into center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. First up, forgot to bring it with me, but definitely check out our Facebook or Ravelry or the shop itself for our June colorway of the month called Don't Rain on My Parade. This is Amanda, our sister, and studio manager's colorway. So this is year number 3 that she's been able to kind of pick colors and design a color and name it for her birthday month. But not only that, year number 3, she has now actually designed it and hand dyed it herself. Every skein of Don't Rain on My Parade will be dyed by Amanda, and so it has been selling like you would not believe. It is absolutely gorgeous. If you want to see swatches of it knit up, you can check out the listings on the website as well. If you go to leadingmenfiberarts.com and scroll down to featured items, it's the first 3. You can choose any yarn base you want. We also have sock sets and hat sets available. As a reminder, if you're local, we do have craft nights every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 5 to 8 p.m. Open crafting, bring whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Leading Men Fiber Arts. It doesn't have to be knitting or crochet. Bring whatever you want to craft on. Come, join, make friends, be merry, and we'll have a good time. Again, occasional Saturdays, but I will let you know ahead of time via our newsletter and social media. All right, let's talk about some new items in the shop. First up, I'm going to show you from Coco Knits. We have this sweater care kit, and it comes with a variety of things to take care of your sweater. So there's a towel to help wring out moisture. There is a small bottle of Eucalyptus for wool wash. There's a little pop-up air dryer, if you can see it there, to help ventilate underneath your sweater so it dries both sides. There is a small sweater bag and a large sweater bag so that if you put it through the washer, you want to keep it separated. There's also then a sweater super absorbent blocking cloth. So you lay this out and it actually has measurements on it. So instead of having to have an actual blocking mat, you can lay this on your floor or your bed, and it's pre-gridded with the measurements on there, so you can kind of make sure that you're, blocking it according to your measurements. And it all comes in this beautiful jute bag that you can store everything in. I only have one of these, but of course I can replenish when the time comes. And I didn't think the cost of all this was that bad. This retails for $75, and you can take care of your sweaters from here on out. So if you are a sweater knitter, this is probably something you might want to have at your beck and call to be able to block and care for your sweaters as you please. All right, next up, we got a huge shipment of our Anchored Northwest candles. We got 5 new scents and 1 returning. Apple and Bourbon we sold out and we refreshed that, but we got some new scents and some spring and summertime scents. What I love about Anchored Northwest is we get them in these rustic vintage metal tins, aluminum tins. And these are all made in the Pacific Northwest in Spokane, Washington. These are 10-ounce wood wick soy candles. I love the way these crackle and burn. This one is the Bookworm scent, and it has notes of teakwood, cedar, leather, sandalwood, patchouli, amorous, and dark musk. So I know we've got some other fun ones. We've got sangria and some other really, really enjoyable scents in there. So definitely check out the candles. These are $19.99. They're $2 cheaper than the wax and wool, but we also carry wax and wool. Very different scents, very different look. So depending on what you're going for, you can always stop by while we're open and smell and sniff and see if one calls your name. Next up, some yarn. This was laying on the table. Amanda and our workers, Katie, got this done on Saturday. This is a Seascape gradient. This is one of the first multicolored gradients I did, but I needed to dye it for an order, so there are 9 more of these in the shop right now. Our showstopper gradients are 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. There are 6 20-gram mini skeins in here, each 92 yards for a total of 552 yards of a fingering weight. So that is Seascape. Another new item is the Big Sully. So this is the rotund friend to the Yarnet. This is essentially a double Yarnet, but so much more. So you can fit 2 balls of yarn in here and carry. It's got a nice carry top. Some things that it talks about in here. It's a multi-protective home for your yarn and accessories. There's an integrated needle gauge in the top of it. There's a yarn spindle that holds cones and cakes of yarn. So there's a spindle that goes through the middle that you can use if you actually want to pull off from the outside of the yarn. It's crystal clear, so it secures your yarn balls, and it's got a hinged lid with a lock closure. There's a swatch ruler at the top of the ball tray. There are 6 different yarn channels that you can pull from. So you can essentially use 6 different colors at one time and pull from different parts of it. There's a large front slot. It has a non-slip silicone base with storage compartment in there for small accessories, and it's got a soft grip handle that's removable with an embossed ruler measurements. So yeah, it's kind of amazing. So these are $49.99. I got a huge shipment in. We got 2 in and they sold out like that. Somebody put in a custom order for them. So there are 4 more in the shop right now. And of course I can order as necessary. So that's the Big Sully. And last but not least, I wanted to show you another one of our Going Gnome kits. This is an advanced needle felting kit. This is for the Snowy Owl. And this kit makes one Snowy Owl approximately 7 inches tall. It includes detailed instructions, natural wool batting, white, gray, black, and gold, 3 needle felting tool, and 2 felting needles. But you will need a foam surface to work on. So that is a warning on all their labels. You do need a foam surface to work on, whether you go get some sort of like floral foam or something like that, just to protect yourself. But I love their packaging. It's Going Gnome. So yeah. All right. Let's talk about upcoming events. No, our knit-alongs. So ending at the end of June is our Mystery Make-Along Spring 2021. We've had a couple people finish their objects, so if you want a spoiler, you can go to the thread on the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group and check those out if you want to know what it is and maybe knock one out before the end of the month. Then ending in July is the Pick-a-Pop Cowl. This uses just 4 mini skeins. And then what we started this month, which ends in August, is the Enneagram number 2 socks. This was a new pattern that I didn't realize was being produced, and I wanted to celebrate it. It uses 1 skein of our Show Stealer base, which is our MCN base, and it is a lace sock. And so we are running that knit along, and the price for that one is a $25 gift certificate to the shop. And if you check out any or all of those threads on the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group, you will find discount codes for yarn needed for the knit along. So if you plan to join our knit along, you can get a discount on the yarn if you need to purchase it to join along. You do not have to use all Leading Men Fiber Arts. Just some portion of your project must use Leading Men Fiber Arts, and it must be documented on your Ravelry project page. So if you're doing the socks and you want to use just a LMFA mini skein for your cuff, heel, and toe, or your heels and toes, and you want to use something else for the sock, that's perfectly fine as long as some LMFA is included in the project. All right, upcoming events. So as I said, this weekend we will be in Amana, Iowa at Shepherd's Harvest at the Amana Woolen Mill. That is Saturday, June 12th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it's a one-day event. We hope you'll be able to come out and check out all the wonderful vendors that will be there and come say hi. And if you're shy, please do introduce yourself. And we hope to see you there. Then the following week, like I said, we'll be on vacation. But after that, we will be in Rochester, Minnesota on Saturday, June 26th. And there is an open market from 1 a.m. that's really early, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. In the afternoon. So if you're in the Rochester, Minnesota area, head on downtown to the DoubleTree and head on up to the second floor, and that's where the market is. And we'd love to see you there. If you're attending the retreat or if you're just planning to come to the open market, stay tuned again for that collaboration kit that will be announced soon, and you will be able to purchase for $5 a backstage pass to get you into that shopping experience. And there'll be more detailed about that here coming up soon. So that's all that I have for you this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and giving me your time and coming to check up and see what I've been up to. I hope you all have been doing well and acclimating well to the warmer weather. It had dropped out last weekend in Ohio and we froze our butts off on Saturday, but it is coming right back with a force, and we're in the 80s and 90s. So hope you're adjusting well. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, I hope you're getting ready for those cooler temperatures. And if you want to catch up with what I'm up to during this downtime in between podcasts, you can always follow me on Instagram as Leading Men Fiber Arts, join our Leading Men Fiber Arts Facebook group, or join the Leading Men Fiber Arts Revelry group, as well as the Dramatic Knits video podcast group on Ravelry. Show notes can be found at dramaticknits.com, and as always, I would love if you would give me a thumbs up or subscribe on the YouTube channel. So until I see you when I have another finished object to show, I hope you make something dramatic.